Suddenly, we have a diagram with two different variables in it. Notice I have angles that have an x expression in their measure, as well as an angle with a y expression. So caution. Something that people try to do is write an equation that contains both variables. Notice what I'm doing here is setting up a linear pair equation. Because those two angles are next to each other and form a line, their measures do add up to 180. This equation is true, but it's not useful yet. We cannot solve an equation with two variables without having a second equation. You guys did that in Algebra B when you did systems of equations. We actually don't need systems of equations to solve this. What we need is just an equation with only x. When you have an equation with just one variable, then you can solve it. So notice I have my 8x minus 31. That's going to be equal to 6x plus 3 because those are alternate interior angles. This is an equation that we can solve pretty quickly. Subtracting 6x from both sides and also adding 31. Going through the columns here, 8x take away 6x is 2x. The 31's cancel. So does the 6 and the negative 6x. We left with just 34 on the right. One last step to find our value of x is division. And that will lead us with x is 17. No big deal there. We have found our value for x. Now that double check step that I wanted to get you in the habit of earlier is useful here. I can take that value of 17, substitute it into both of my expressions, ignore that, substitute that into both of my expressions. We had 8 times 17 minus 31, as well as 6 times 17 plus 3. That's our double check that we get 105 for both of those. But that is the measure of this angle. That is what we were really finding there when we were double checking. Now that I know what that angle equals, now I can set up an equation with y. We have 5y plus 35. And then you have to pick. Do you want to use a linear pair? Do you want to use consecutive interior angles? Yeah, it doesn't actually matter. Either way you slice it, adding those two angles together will get you 180 degrees. Again, you could do a linear pair, which are supplementary, or you could do consecutive interior angles, which are supplementary. That should be a 105, not a 107. Either way you slice it, those are supplementary relationships. Linear pair and consecutive interior angles are both supplementary. So you wind up with the same equation no matter which one of those 105s you pick. To solve this, we can combine like terms. And then it's just a two-step equation. Subtract 140 from both sides. That'll leave you with 5y equals 40. And then dividing by 5. Dividing by 5 will get you that y is 8. So two values we wanted to find here, both an x and a y. We double-checked that x. It might be useful to double-check that y. 5 times 8. 5 times 8. And then we add a 35. That gets me the value 75. Now that 75 is for this angle right here. So we do want to make sure 75 and 105 add to 180, get you that supplementary relationship, and they do. So I encourage you to double check your work, make sure you've got it all correct. In this case, we are ready to rock and roll. Let's do another one.